Have you ever wondered if the future can be seen before it happens? For centuries, humanity has been fascinated by prophecies, predictions made by seers and mystics who claim to have a glimpse into what's to come. While many are vague and easily dismissed, some ancient prophecies are so startlingly accurate they make you question everything you thought you knew about time and destiny. Today, we're diving deep into some of the most famous ancient prophecies that actually came true. Stick around, because some of these will blow your mind. Let's start with perhaps the most famous prophet of all, Nostradamus. A French astrologer and physician from the 16th century, Nostradamus published a book titled Les Prophéties, a collection of 942 poetic quatrains allegedly predicting future events. Skeptics argue his writings are so cryptic they can be interpreted to fit almost any event after the fact. But some of his predictions are uncannily specific. One of his most cited prophecies is about the Great Fire of London in 1666. Nostradamus wrote, "The blood of the just will commit a fault at London, burn through lightning of 23's the 6th. The ancient lady will fall from her high place. Several of the same sect will be killed." Let's break that down. 23's the 6th could be interpreted as 20 times 3, which is 60, plus 6, giving you 66. So, the year 1666. The fire started in a baker's shop and raged for 3 days, destroying a huge portion of medieval London, including St. Paul's Cathedral. The blood of the just is often thought to refer to the Protestant population, and the ancient lady could be the cathedral itself. Coincidence? Maybe. But it's a pretty chilling one. He is also credited with predicting the rise of Adolf Hitler. Nostradamus wrote about a figure he called Hister. He said, "From the depths of the west of Europe, a young child will be born of poor people. He who by his tongue will seduce a great troop. His fame will increase towards the realm of the east." He also mentioned beasts ferocious with hunger will cross the rivers. The greater part of the battlefield will be against Hister. Hitler was born in Austria to a relatively poor family, was a powerful orator who captivated a nation, and his ambitions certainly led to a massive conflict that engulfed Europe. The name Hister is remarkably close to Hitler, and is also an old name for the Danube River, near where Hitler was born. The detail here is what makes it so compelling and hard to ignore. Moving on from Nostradamus, let's journey back even further in time to ancient Rome and the Sibylline books. These were a collection of prophecies written in Greek hexameter verse, kept under strict guard in Rome. The legend says a prophetess, the Cumaean Sibyl, offered to sell 9 books of prophecy to King Tarquin the Proud. He refused the high price, so she burned 3 and offered the remaining 6 for the same price. He refused again, she burned 3 more, and finally, the terrified king bought the last 3 books for the original, exorbitant price. These books were consulted by the Roman Senate in times of great crisis. One famous instance was after the disastrous Battle of Cannae against Hannibal. The Romans, in a state of panic, consulted the Sibylline books. The prophecy they found reportedly called for a human sacrifice to appease the gods. So, they buried to Gauls and to Greeks alive in the cattle market. It was a dark moment, but for the Romans, it was a necessary act guided by prophecy to save their city. The books also allegedly predicted the rise of several emperors and even the eventual burning of Rome itself. Sadly, the original books were destroyed in a fire in 83 BC, and though they were reconstructed, the collection was permanently burned in the 5th century AD, leaving us with only fragments and historical accounts of their incredible power. Now let's head to the Americas and explore the prophecies of the Maya. The Mayan civilization was incredibly advanced, especially in astronomy and mathematics. They created a complex calendar system, the most famous of which is the long count calendar. This calendar famously ended a major cycle on December 21, 2012, sparking a global frenzy about the end of the world. While the apocalypse didn't happen, many scholars now believe the prophecy wasn't about destruction, but about transformation, the end of one world age and the beginning of a new one. But the Maya had other, more specific prophecies. The Chilam Balam are books of prophecy attributed to a legendary Mayan priest. These texts, written after the Spanish conquest, blend Mayan beliefs with European influences. They contain prophecies that are said to have predicted the arrival of the Spanish conquistadors. One passage reads, "On that day, dust possesses the earth. On that day, a blight is on the face of the earth. On that day, the tender leaf is destroyed. On that day, the dying eyes are closed." This sounds a lot like the disease, warfare, and cultural destruction that followed the arrival of the Europeans. They also spoke of the coming of bearded men from the east and the imposition of a new religion, which is exactly what happened. For the Maya, these weren't just random events, they were part of a cosmic cycle that their prophets had foreseen centuries earlier. Let's not forget the biblical prophecies. The Bible is filled with prophetic writings, many of which believers say have been fulfilled with stunning accuracy. One of the most significant is the prophecy concerning the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem. In the New Testament, Jesus is recorded as saying to his disciples, "Do you see all these great buildings? Not one stone here will be left on another, every one will be thrown down." At the time, the temple was the heart of Jewish life and seemed indestructible. Yet, in 70 AD, just a few decades later, the Roman army, led by Titus, besieged Jerusalem, utterly destroyed the city, and tore down the temple, stone by stone, exactly as predicted. Today, only the Western Wall remains, a powerful and somber reminder of a prophecy fulfilled. Another powerful biblical prophecy is the return of the Jewish people to Israel. For nearly 2,000 years, after the destruction of the temple, the Jewish people were scattered across the globe, a diaspora without a homeland. Prophets like Ezekiel and Isaiah spoke of a day when God would gather his people from all the nations and bring them back to their own land. Ezekiel 37 says, "I will take the Israelites out of the nations where they have gone. I will gather them from all around and bring them back into their own land." For centuries, this seemed impossible. Yet, in 1948, the State of Israel was established, and millions of Jews from around the world have since returned. The fulfillment of this ancient promise against all historical odds is seen by many as one of the most powerful proofs of prophetic accuracy. So what does this all mean? Are these just coincidences, or a result of vague language and confirmation bias? Or is there something more to it? The skeptical view is that our brains are wired to find patterns. We look back at a cryptic verse written hundreds of years ago, and we mold it to fit an event we already know happened. And it's true, many prophecies are incredibly vague. But then you have predictions like the name Hister or the year 66 for the London fire, or the specific destruction of the Jerusalem temple. These are harder to dismiss. Perhaps the nature of prophecy isn't about a fixed, unchangeable future. Maybe it's about seeing the currents of time, the probable outcomes of human actions. Maybe these prophets weren't seeing a definite future, but a potential one, a warning of what could happen if humanity continued on a certain path. In this sense, a prophecy isn't just a party trick, it's a call to action, a challenge to either embrace a destiny or fight to change it. Whether you're a believer or a skeptic, the stories of these ancient prophecies are undeniably captivating. They tap into a deep human desire to understand our place in the universe and to know what lies beyond the horizon of the present moment. They remind us that history is not just a random series of events, but a story, and sometimes it seems like someone read the last page long before the rest of us. What do you think? Are there any other ancient prophecies that came true that we missed? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this journey into the mysteries of the past, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the unexplained. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.